Okay, we are working on this guy. I wanted to talk about the topic of trimming feet without really getting into the trimming part of it because it's really in depth, and I wouldn't want to give the impression that there's anything that's absolute in the hoof trimming world. So before you even get to the hoof trimming part, or even just picking feet, sometimes you have to be really aware of how the horse feels about not having one of their feet on the ground. Horses use their feet to get away, obviously, to run away. They're flight animals, fight or flight. Usually flight. So what we want to do is see how he'll do for a trim. He needs a trim. His feet are looking a little long. You know, they look kind of nice, but there's some length to them that needs to come back, and you can kind of see on that back one he's just chipping a little on the outside, and the front ones have one of them has a crack. So not uncommon. I mean, I'll start to talk more and more about in-depth stuff in the future. This is not going to be one of those videos, but this I might talk a little bit about it, but we'll see how this goes. It's been told to me that when he has his feet trimmed, he actually rears up, so that's a big deal. And I was recently out at another lady's place, and she had a couple of horses. She's quite worried about whether or not they're even trimmable. She's had a lot of trouble with farriers, and she's worried about if she'd get the vet out, they'd be calm enough. And I went out there and worked on them, spent a couple hours, and she was surprised at how calm they were. So I thought, well, maybe the technique that I have, that I've picked up, or whatever, I don't know, just what I do feels right for what I do, may work for others. So I thought I'd share. Who knows, maybe this will work out, maybe this won't. Hopefully you guys will hear everything I'm saying. I'm going to sit you guys up on the ground. I'm going to get in there. I'll turn this back on when I'm set up. Okay, so I'm going to try to work on him in this area here, and I'm going to give you the sort of the play-by-play, or the steps that I take when it comes to trimming horses. If I consider, or I've heard, or I see that they're worried and don't handle picking up their feet very well. So it's a bit of a long process. I'll probably either make, I mean, we'll see how this goes. I have no idea how it will go, but we're going to find out pretty quick here. If I could find my halter. Okay, because he's already left. I gotta go get him. All right. Very good. Okay, I've wrangled up this tiger here. Now, ow. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do, and I've suggested it before, oh, thanks a lot. You're going to kind of assess whether or not they're in a good mood. They're not always in the best mood, or the happiest, or whatever. He seems okay. I'm gonna ask him to step up to me. Come on. And these first little bits of time can really count. Just the little things. So I ask him to come forward. As soon as he moves, I release him. I just back off and wait. Some horses are great, some aren't. I'm going to assume he's not. You can't go wrong with that. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take pictures before I trim him. from the front and the side, especially if he's got cracks. We want to monitor those and make sure that they get better over time. So you want to get your camera as low as you can for the least amount of distortion. Don't get stepped on. Okay, so I've got my pictures of the fronts. I want to take a picture of the bottom of his foot as well, the sole and the frog and stuff, and his bars. So I'm going to see how he is for picking up his feet, and I'll clean his feet at the same time. Now you'll notice I haven't tied him. A horse that rears essentially means they've been asking for release for a little while now, and then they rear, or they do so. I rarely ever tie a horse up. In fact, I rarely halter them even. Getting tired of that. Well, thanks. I need a shower. Okay, so I'm gonna see if he'll pick up his feet okay, and we'll assess from there. Okay, so a very quick pickup, and he'd like it back, so I give it back. I'm asking him to step forward though, because I don't need him moving around and stuff. So we'll try again. Okay, I'm going to give it back before he asks for it back. I'll step him forward. Now, sometimes you got to do this a lot. But you're letting them know that you're willing to be patient and you're willing to understand that they're uncomfortable. And it doesn't take too long before they realize you're not out to hurt them and it's probably safe to be around. And you get a lot done. So it might be slow in the beginning, but it's faster later. And you would have taught them something good. I'm going to try again right away, see how he does. I'm just pinching a little, and I'm sort of moving and shaking and kind of bugging them. Just sort of pinching and hassling them. It's uncomfortable, they don't like it. Okay, so he's real resistant to giving me his foot. I'm not going to rush him. I'll get more done now, and then I'll get more done in his next trim as well. It'd be even better. I'll just keep trying. I'll step him forward. He's very compliant. That's nice. I'll pet him. Let him know he's okay. I'll try again. Now I wanted to give it back to him a little earlier, but he's putting a lot more pressure. So I wanted to place his foot, but he wouldn't let me really, and then he backed up. See, when they back up like that, and they're tied, or somebody's holding them, or telling them to stop moving, or any of that other stuff, they'll get even worse. You'll have sort of taken them to a place where they're just more and more afraid. But if you just sort of take it slow like this, give it back, you know, you just, it doesn't take much at all to just be patient. So you keep going. Now I'm going to come back again, and this may be tedious and boring and stuff. There, he stepped forward for me, so that's a good sign. Hey man, how you doing? Okay, I'm going to try again. This time I'm going to try to give him a cleaning. Okay, so I was able to kind of clean his feet and put it back where I wanted it to. Make sure he's cool with that. He says, how about the other foot? I think I've talked about trimming or cleaning feet before. One of the things that there was a comic I saw, and I know I've said this, but there's this comic I saw a while ago, and it was a farrier and a horse, or a trimmer, or whatever, hoof care provider, and there's two bubbles, and the farrier is trying to pick up one foot, and he's having a lot of trouble, and the horse is trying to give him a different foot, essentially, and both of them are saying, wrong foot, stupid. So sometimes you can keep an eye on them, and they'll tell you which foot they want you to do. So sometimes you just gotta watch for that. Anyways, he was very good. I'm gonna give it one more go on this foot, then I'm gonna go to the other one. Not bad. I'm going to step him forward again. Remember, this is just like any exercise you do, groundwork or whatever. If the exercise isn't done properly from beginning till end, and obviously the exercise here, the goal is to be able to pick up his foot, do whatever I want with it, put it back down where I want to put it. We didn't get that quite yet, but we're close. But then he stepped back. Okay, so failure. Exercise not complete. Start from scratch. Step them back up to where they were. Make sure they're cool and relaxed. Start again. Anyways, I'm going to go to the other foot and see if there's anything in there. A big rock. See that? When he looked over at his other side, this is just my opinion, I could be wrong, I could be right, but when he looked over at his other side after I'd kind of done this foot, which will make him resistant to pick up a foot if you've got the wrong foot, when he looked over at his other side, I feel he was telling me, can you please look at the other foot? So be sensitive to that. You might be right, you might be wrong. You can't go wrong with trying anyways. So let's keep going. You had to have the last word in, didn't you? That was really close. He's much better on that side, which I've already noticed with him, that he's better on his right hand side than his left for other things as well. Anyways, I think I'll finish the video there. Stay with me. But it's just an idea. It's an idea. If you have a horse that is hard to trim, hard to clean their feet, take your time, do a little bit at a time. Go for the small things. You get the inches, sooner or later you will get the mile. And they'll feel comfortable, and you will have taught them something good in the long run, rather than getting frustrated or angry or impatient. Go into it thinking you're going to take 3 hours per foot. I mean, that's ridiculous. But for a troubled horse, for one that doesn't feel like they're safe or comfortable, you could take a little while to do it. And in the end, you'll come out of it with something really good. So hopefully that's helped anybody that's watching. I'm going to get on with trimming them. Should be good. Thanks for watching. See you guys again soon.